Out in the massive grasslands of Kenya's Masai Mara, there's a real-life drama playing out every single day. It's a story all about power, about family, and ultimately survival. And the stars? Some of the most incredible kings on the entire planet. We're going to dive into a tale of two lion dynasties, their legendary reigns, and the very different world they had to navigate.
So to really get the story of the Mara's lions, you've got to start with one name, Scarface. I mean, just look at him. That scar over his right eye is how he got the name, of course. But it was his charisma, his pure dominance, that made him an absolute legend. For more than a decade, he was the face of the Mara, a symbol of raw, untamed power.
But here's the thing, Scarface wasn't a solo act. His story is part of what a lot of people called the Golden Age, and it was defined by one of the most successful and famous lion coalitions the Mara has ever seen.
And they went by an epic name, the Four Musketeers. This was a band of four brothers, Scarface, Hunter, Morani, and Sikio. And they just appeared on the scene back in 2011. They were young, they were ambitious, and when they were together, they were a totally unstoppable force, ready to carve out an empire.
And boy, did they build an empire. The scale of what they accomplished was just staggering. They didn't just take over one pride, they literally swept across the Mara, kicking out the famous Marsh Pride males, taking over territories all the way to the Lookout Pride. Their rule was vast, and it brought a time of stability that led to countless new cubs all across the reserve. So let's put some faces to the names. Here they are, the kings themselves. Scarface, with that iconic scar. Hunter, Sikio, and Morani. Each one was a powerhouse on his own, but together they were the undisputed masters of the Mara, a dynasty that honestly seemed like it would just last forever.
But you know how it goes? Nothing lasts forever, right? Not even in the Mara. In June of 2021, after an incredible 14 years, a weary old Scarface took his last breath. He died of natural causes, which is a rare, almost dignified end for a wild male lion. It was truly the end of an era. But as his chapter closed, a new one was just getting started.
So, with the old guard making their exit, the stage was set for a new generation to claim the throne. These guys were younger, they were bigger, and they were about to become legends themselves. They were known as the Black Rock Boys.
Now, this coalition of five brothers didn't just show up. They burst onto the scene with a serious reputation. They were born in 2017 and became known for two things: their massive size and their incredible, almost unheard-of skill at hunting buffalo, one of the most dangerous animals on the savanna. These guys were the new titans of the Mara.
But here's the catch. The Maras these new kings inherited, it was a totally different ballgame from the one the musketeers had conquered. Their kingdom and their very lives would be defined by a whole new and ever-present set of dangers.
And this is where the danger becomes twofold. On one hand, you have the classic natural threats that lions have faced forever: brutal territory wars with rivals like the powerful Salah's boys, and the risk of getting injured on a dangerous hunt. But then on the other hand, there's this growing list of human threats: retaliatory killings, shrinking habitats, and the silent, deadly danger of poisoning.
This map really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? The red lines, that's where the lions roam, their ancient territories. The green dots, that's us, human settlements. You can see that dangerous overlap plain as day, creating a front line where the survival of both lions and livestock is a constant daily struggle.
And the cost of this conflict? It's just brutal. More than 50 lions have been officially documented as killed in these clashes in just the last few years. And remember, that's just the official number. The true total is probably much higher. This was the dangerous new world the Black Rock Boys had to fight to rule.
So, for all their strength, for all their buffalo hunting skill, this combination of old and new threats, it would just prove to be too much. The fast, dramatic, and tragic fall of the Black Rock Boys dynasty is a really stark reminder of the challenges that the modern kings of the Mara are facing.
Just look at how quickly their whole world unraveled. It started around 2021 with the mysterious death of Ali Atho. Then, January 2024, Olabor is killed in a human-wildlife conflict. Almost a year later to the day, Lord Kulip is found dead, officially from a hunt, but many of his followers seriously contest that story. And then finally, in October 2025, the last dominant brother, Oloshipa, dies the old way in a savage battle for territory.
So with each loss, you can just imagine the coalition getting weaker and weaker, their territory shrinking. In the end, only one brother, Aloamino, was left all alone. And a lone male out there, he just doesn't stand a chance against powerful rival coalitions. The once mighty Black Rock Boys dynasty was over.
But this story, it doesn't just end there, in tragedy. The death of one of these brothers, Lorcalup, kicked off something completely unprecedented. It sent an echo from the Mara that was literally heard all around the world.
You see, to thousands of online fans, especially in China, Lorcalut wasn't just another lion, he was a personality. They knew him as Quan Quan, which means radio caller, a nickname he picked up from a GPS tracker. They followed his life every single day and admired him as this gentle, patient, family-first kind of king, a protector who'd make sure his cubs ate before he did.
So when he died, the grief was real. It was personal. This quote from a fan in China, Lia Cao, it just captures it perfectly. It feels like losing an old friend who's been with you for so long. To his followers, this wasn't just some animal dying. It was the loss of someone they felt they knew and had come to love.
And this is where it gets wild. That grief? It turned into action. Fans from all over the world, a lot of them from China, pooled their money to buy tribute billboards in London and even in New York's Times Square. Think about that. A lion from the Masai Mara being mourned on the global stage. It was an incredible campaign to raise awareness about the very threats that had torn his family apart.
So, we're left with this. From the legendary reign of Scarface to the tragic and very modern fall of the Black Rock Boys, the saga of the Mars Lions really holds up a mirror to our changing planet. Their story has now reached a global audience, and it forces us to ask, as this dynasty ends, can we, the people watching from all over the world, help change the story for the next generation of kings?